Tell us, which city or country are you joining us from? We love connecting with our global audience. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Perfectly Imperfect Life. Liam Hardrove's success came with sacrifice. At 42, he stood at the helm of Typhon Security Systems, a company he had built from nothing into the most respected private security firm in the Northeast. His hands, still calloused from the years spent in military service before he transitioned to entrepreneurship, drummed idly on his mahogany desk as he stared at the photograph of his wife, Bianca. They had met at a charity gala 15 years ago. Bianca Montgomery was a vision in emerald, sophisticated, sharp-witted, and carrying herself with an elegance that made every head turn. Liam, fresh out of the Rangers with a fledgling security consultancy and haunted eyes that had seen too much combat, felt out of place among the glittering elite. Yet somehow, she had chosen him. "You're not like these other men," she had whispered that night, red lips close to his ear. "You've lived in the real world." Their courtship had been swift, passionate. Within a year, they were married, and within another, their daughter Phoenix was born. The name had been Bianca's choice, symbolic of Liam's new life rising from the ashes of his violent past. The early years were golden. Liam's business expanded as his reputation for ruthless efficiency and discretion spread among high-profile clients. Bianca, with her background in public relations, crafted his company's image with precision. Their home in Ravenswood Heights became a fortress of luxury, 6 bedrooms, an indoor pool, a state-of-the-art security system that Liam had personally designed. Yet lately, something had shifted. Bianca's touches grew less frequent, her kisses perfunctory. At night, she turned away from him, claiming exhaustion from her charity work with the Ravenswood Foundation. Their conversations became transactional, discussions about Phoenix's private school, household management, social obligations. Liam told himself it was normal. Marriages evolved, but the soldier in him, the part trained to detect threats before they materialized, sensed danger. There were calls she took in private, stepping onto the terrace with the door closed. Lunches that ran suspiciously long. New clothes that seemed chosen to impress someone other than him. A password suddenly appeared on her phone. Yesterday, when he mentioned a weekend trip to their lake house, panic had flashed in her eyes before she composed herself and claimed a scheduling conflict. Liam had considered having her followed. He had the resources, men who could shadow her without detection. But something held him back. Trust, perhaps, or fear of what he might discover. Phoenix, now 14, had grown increasingly withdrawn. When he asked about her mother's activities, she would shrug, avoid eye contact, mumble that she didn't know. But there was something in her expression, a flicker of knowledge, of complicity perhaps, that troubled him deeply. The intercom on his desk buzzed, interrupting his thoughts. "Mr. Hardrove, your 2 p.m. is here. Mr. Davenport from the governor's security detail." "Send him in," Liam replied, sliding the photo of Bianca face down. As he stood to greet his client, his phone vibrated in his pocket. Bianca's name flashed on the screen. He let it go to voicemail. Whatever it was, it could wait. Business came first, it always had. Later, as he was wrapping up the meeting, his phone vibrated again. Then again, and again. Finally, a text message appeared. "Emergency. Call me now." Frowning, he excused himself and stepped into the hallway. "Bianca, what's wrong?" he asked without preamble. Her voice came through breathless, panicked. "Liam, there's someone in the house. I heard glass breaking. I'm locked in our bedroom." His blood ran cold. "Have you called the police?" "Yes, they're on their way, but Liam, I'm scared. Please come home now. I'm on my way. Stay on the line with me." He was already moving, signaling to his security chief, Trevor, as he sprinted toward the elevator. 15 minutes. That's how long it would take to reach Ravenswood Heights, even with Trevor breaking every speed limit. 15 minutes for his world to collapse. Chapter 2. The Shattered Glass. Rain pounded against the windshield as Trevor maneuvered the SUV through afternoon traffic. Liam kept Bianca on the line, listening to her ragged breathing. She had fallen silent after whispering that she heard footsteps outside the bedroom. "Bianca." Liam's knuckles whitened around the phone. Bianca, talk to me. Then came a scream, piercing, terrified, followed by the sound of splintering wood. The line went dead. Faster, Liam ordered, though Trevor was already pushing 90 on the highway. They screeched through red lights, narrowly avoiding collisions as Trevor leaned on the horn. When they finally turned onto the tree-lined street of Ravenswood Heights, Liam's heart plummeted. 3 police cruisers, lights flashing, blocked his driveway. An ambulance stood nearby, its back doors open. Neighbors huddled on their lawns, watching the scene unfold. Trevor hadn't even fully stopped the car when Liam leaped out, sprinting toward his house. A uniformed officer tried to intercept him. "Sir, you can't. This is my house." Liam shoved past him, racing up the stone pathway. The massive front door stood ajar, shards of decorative glass scattered across the marble foyer. Blood, a smear of it, marked the cream-colored wall. "Bianca! Phoenix!" Liam called out, his voice echoing through the cavernous entrance hall. Movement on the staircase caught his eye. Phoenix hurried down, her face ashen, eyes reddened from crying. She wore her school uniform still, though it was hours past dismissal time. "Dad!" She crashed into him, trembling violently. "Don't go inside," she begged, fingers digging into his arms. "Mom doesn't want you to see." "See what? Where's she? What happened?" Phoenix shook her head, tears streaming down her face. It's bad, Dad. The police are with her. There's blood everywhere in your bedroom." Cold dread washed over him. Gently but firmly, he disentangled himself from Phoenix's grip. "Stay here," he instructed, then took the stairs 2 at a time. The upper hallway was crowded with officers and crime scene technicians. They parted silently as Liam approached, their faces grim. At the end of the corridor, the double doors to the master suite stood open. Inside, he could hear a woman sobbing. Liam pushed his way through, freezing on the threshold. The destruction was catastrophic. Their king-size bed had been overturned, the mattress slashed open. Drawers had been pulled out and emptied, their contents strewn across the floor. The wall safe behind the Monet reproduction hung open and empty. But it was the bathroom that drew Liam's horrified gaze. Blood spattered the marble tiles and glass shower enclosure. Handprints smeared the white countertop. And there, huddled on the floor with a female officer kneeling beside her, was Bianca. Her face was nearly unrecognizable. One eye swollen shut, lips split, a gash across her forehead, still seeping blood. Her cream silk blouse was torn and stained crimson. She cradled her left arm, which bent at an unnatural angle. When she saw Liam, she shrank back against the bathtub. "Ma'am, it's your husband," the officer reassured her. "Liam," Bianca whispered. "Oh God, Liam." He dropped to his knees beside her, careful not to touch her, seeing how she flinched at sudden movements. "What happened? Who did this to you?" A male detective stepped forward from the shadows of the walk-in closet. "Mr. Hargrove, I'm Detective Sullivan. We need to ask you some questions." Later, Liam snapped. "My wife needs medical attention." "Paramedics are on their way up," Sullivan replied, his expression neutral but eyes watchful. "Sir, where were you between noon and 2 p.m. today?" "In my office. I had meetings scheduled all afternoon." "Can anyone verify that?" Liam's head snapped up. "Are you seriously asking me if I have an alibi? You think I did this to my own wife?" "Standard procedure, sir. In domestic cases." "This isn't a domestic case," Liam growled, rising to his full height. "Someone broke into my home and attacked my wife. And instead of looking for them, you're wasting time questioning me." "Dad!" Phoenix's voice came from the bedroom doorway. Though Liam had told her to stay downstairs, of course she had followed. She stood there white-faced, staring at her mother's battered form. "Phoenix, go back downstairs," Liam ordered. "Actually," Sullivan interjected, "I'd like to speak with your daughter, too." Liam stepped toward the detective, invading his personal space. "My daughter is 14 years old. She's traumatized. Whatever questions you have can wait." Sullivan held his ground. "Mr. Hargrove, I understand you're upset, but this is a criminal investigation. We need to establish the facts quickly. The facts are that my wife called me in a panic because someone broke into our home. I have that call recorded on my phone. While I was on my way here, I heard her scream, and the line went dead. I arrived to find this. Liam gestured around the demolished room. Now, either you start looking for the person who did this, or I'll have my lawyer here in 10 minutes. The standoff was interrupted by paramedics rushing in with a stretcher. As they attended to Bianca, Liam moved to Phoenix, placing an arm around her shoulders and guiding her back to the hallway. "What did you see?" he asked quietly, once they were away from the police. "Were you home when it happened?" Phoenix shook her head. "I got home from tennis practice and found all the police cars. They wouldn't let me inside at first, but then Mom asked for me." Something in her tone made Liam look down sharply. "Phoenix, is there something you're not telling me?" The girl's eyes, so like his own, darted away. "No," she mumbled. "Phoenix, Mom's been acting weird lately, and I found something." She broke off as Sullivan approached them. "Mr. Hargrove, the paramedics are taking your wife to Mercy Hospital. You can follow in your vehicle, but I'll need both of you to come to the station tomorrow morning to give formal statements." Liam nodded curtly. "We'll be there. Now, if you'll excuse us, I need to take care of my family." As they headed downstairs, Phoenix tugged at his sleeve. "Dad, there's something in Mom's study. Something you should see before." But they were interrupted by the paramedics bringing Bianca down on the stretcher. Her eyes, glazed with pain or perhaps medication, found Liam's. "Don't trust anyone," she whispered as they passed. What Liam couldn't see was the sideways glance Bianca cast at Phoenix. A warning, a threat perhaps, that made the girl fall silent. By the time they reached the hospital, Phoenix's momentary openness had vanished, replaced by the same guarded expression she'd worn for months. Whatever she had been about to show him would have to wait. But that night, as Bianca slept in her hospital room, bruised face slack from morphine, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that he had missed something crucial. Something that would explain the strange disconnect between the violence of the attack and the odd precision of what had been destroyed. Only the master bedroom had been touched. Only his and Bianca's belongings disturbed. The safe, which contained cash, jewelry, and documents, emptied. It looked like a robbery gone wrong. But instinct, the same instinct that had kept him alive through 3 combat tours, told him it was something else entirely. And when he returned home, sending Phoenix to stay with Bianca's sister, Liam intended to discover exactly what that was. Chapter 3: Buried Secrets. The house stood silent, cordoned off with police tape. Liam ducked under it, using his key to enter through the side door. He had convinced Sullivan to let him retrieve some personal items, promising to touch nothing in the master bedroom, where evidence technicians were still processing the scene. But Liam had no intention of keeping that promise. Phoenix's words echoed in his mind. There's something in Mom's study. Whatever his daughter had tried to tell him had seemed urgent, important. And now she was unreachable, sequestered at her Aunt Cordelia's house, her phone mysteriously turned off. Liam moved through the darkened house with practiced stealth. The damage, he noted, was indeed confined to the upstairs master suite. Nothing else appeared disturbed. Not the valuable art pieces in the living room, not the silver in the dining room cabinet, not even the spare cash he kept in his downstairs office. A very selective burglar, then. He paused at the door to Bianca's study. Unlike the rest of the house, which Liam had allowed an interior designer to furnish in contemporary neutrals, this room reflected Bianca's personal taste. Rich burgundy walls, leather-bound books, antique desk. A sanctum she rarely invited him into. The door was locked. Interesting, since he couldn't remember it ever being locked before. From his pocket, Liam withdrew a small case containing the lock-picking tools he'd used during his military days. Within seconds, the door swung open. Everything appeared normal at first glance. The desk was tidy, pins set aligned perfectly with the leather blotter. Bookshelves organized by author. The crystal decanter of bourbon, her one indulgence, sat half empty on the credenza. Liam began with the desk, methodically checking each drawer. Tax records, charity correspondence. Nothing unusual until he reached the bottom left drawer. Unlike the others, it was locked. Again, his picks made quick work of it. Inside lay a burgundy leather journal, Bianca's distinctive personal stationery, and beneath it, a burner phone. Liam's jaw tightened. He opened the journal first, flipping through pages of his wife's elegant handwriting. At first, the entries seemed innocuous. Notes about fundraisers, committee meetings, Phoenix's school events. Then about 6 months back, the tone changed. April 17th. Met her for lunch again. He understands me in ways Elle never could. Says I deserve more than being a glorified trophy wife to a man who cares more about his company than his family. May 3rd. Another fight with Elle about Phoenix's summer plans. He insists on that wilderness camp, says it builds character. What it really does is give him 6 weeks without having to pretend to be a father. Texted R afterward. Just hearing his voice calms me. May 29th. R says we could start over somewhere else. Somewhere Elle would never find us. It's tempting, but there's Phoenix to consider. And the money. I've sacrificed too much to walk away empty-handed. Liam's hands were shaking by the time he reached the most recent entries. September 12th. R has a plan. It's dangerous, but possible. We need to make it look like a crime. Elle would never suspect. He's too arrogant to imagine anyone outsmarting him. Phoenix is the wild card. She's been asking questions, watching me. That girl sees too much. October 1st. Everything is set. 2 more weeks, then freedom. R has secured the new identities. The offshore account is ready. By the time Elle realizes what's happened, we'll be ghosts. The final entry was dated yesterday. October 15th, tonight. 2 p.m. R will handle the break-in while Elle is at work. Must remember to use enough force to be convincing. The bruises will heal, but freedom is forever. Only Phoenix worries me. Found her in my study yesterday. Not sure what she saw. Might have to bring her into the plan, willing or not. Cold fury washed over Liam. He picked up the burner phone, powered it on. No password protection. Bianca must have been confident no one would find it. The text messages confirmed everything. Photos exchanged. Explicit messages. Detailed plans for their escape. The contact was saved simply as R. Liam scrolled to the most recent exchange from yesterday morning. R. Everything ready? You know what to do. B. Yes. I will be in meetings all afternoon. I'll call him to panic once you're done staging the scene. Once he's dealing with police, I'll access the safe deposit box. Meet you at the rendezvous point at 8 p.m. Or what about P? B. Working on it. Might need to use the contingency plan. R. No loose ends. B. Remember what's at stake. Contingency plan. No loose ends. The implications sent ice through Liam's veins. They weren't just planning to rob him and disappear. They had something in mind for Phoenix if she couldn't be convinced to go along with their scheme. His daughter had tried to warn him, and now she was at her aunt's house, Bianca's sister, who might very well be involved. Liam grabbed the journal and phone, shoving them into his jacket. He needed to get to Phoenix immediately. But first, he had to know who R was. He plugged the burner phone into his laptop, running a program that Typhon Security used to extract metadata from devices. Within minutes, he had a name attached to the mysterious R. Russell Vega. The name meant nothing to him, but a quick search revealed everything Liam needed to know. Russell Vega, 38, served 10 years for armed robbery before being paroled 3 years ago. Now working as a personal trainer at Elysium Health Club, where Bianca had been going 5 mornings a week for the past year. Liam's security training kicked in. First priority, secure Phoenix. Second, gather evidence. Third, develop counterplan. As he headed for his car, Liam's phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, he answered cautiously. Dad. Phoenix's voice was a frantic whisper. Dad, I'm scared. Aunt Cordelia is acting weird. She keeps talking to someone on the phone about a change of plans. And I heard Mom's name. I think they're going to take me somewhere. Where are you now? Liam kept his voice calm despite the alarm bells ringing in his head. Locked in the bathroom. Dad, there's someone else here too. A man. I heard his voice. Listen carefully. Is there a window? Yes, but it's small, and we're on the 2nd floor. Can you fit through it? A pause. Maybe. Check if there's a tree, drain pipe, anything you could use to climb down. He heard rustling, then, there's an oak tree pretty close. I might be able to reach a branch. Good. Get out that way. Then run to the neighbor's house directly to the right of Cordelia's. Go to the back door. Tell them you need help. I'm on my way, but it will take me 20 minutes to get there. Dad, what's happening? Is Mom? Phoenix, I promise I'll explain everything. But right now, you need to focus on getting out safely. Call me back from the neighbor's house. After hanging up, Liam sped toward Cordelia's upscale suburb, mind racing. Bianca's injuries, the stage break-in, the empty safe, Phoenix's attempted warning, and now this. It all pointed to one conclusion. His wife and her lover hadn't just been planning to steal his money and disappear. They'd plotted something far worse. And somehow, Phoenix had discovered their scheme, which made her a liability they needed to eliminate. Chapter 4. The Spider's Web. The dashboard clock read 7:43 p.m. when Liam screeched to a halt outside the sprawling Tudor home where Cordelia Montgomery lived. No police cars yet, though he'd called them en route after receiving Phoenix's terrified confirmation that she'd made it to the neighbor's house. A retired judge named Lawrence Whitfield who had immediately recognized the danger and locked down his home. Liam approached cautiously, gun drawn. The Glock 19 he carried was licensed and registered, one of the few firearms he kept that was. After his years in black ops, old habits died hard. Lights blazed from every window of Cordelia's house, but an eerie silence permeated the property. The front door stood slightly ajar. Inside, chaos reigned. Furniture overturned, a vase shattered on the marble floor, a splash of red wine on the white carpet like spilled blood. Signs of struggle or a hasty departure. Cordelia? Liam called out, moving from room to room with practiced efficiency. No response. In the kitchen, a pot of pasta water still boiled on the stove, steam clouding the air. 2 places had been set at the island counter. A woman's purse, designer, undoubtedly Cordelia's, lay spilled on the floor, contents scattered. Liam climbed the stairs, alert for any sound. The bathroom door at the end of the hallway hung askew, the lock clearly forced from the outside. Phoenix's escape route, the window, was still open, curtains billowing in the evening breeze. The master bedroom told the final chapter of the story. Closet doors flung wide, clothes missing. A suitcase gone from the rack where several others remained. On the bed, a plane ticket confirmed his suspicions. Cordelia Montgomery, one way to Belize, departing from a private airfield at 9 p.m. tonight. Bianca's sister was in on the plan, and now she had fled, likely to rendezvous with our once she'd realized Phoenix had escaped. Sirens wailed in the distance as Liam dialed Sullivan. "Detective, we have a situation at Cordelia Montgomery's residence," he began without preamble. "My daughter was being held here against her will. She's safe now, but her aunt has fled. I believe she's involved in what happened at my house." Sullivan's response was measured. "Mr. Hargrove, slow down. Your daughter called this in already. Officers are en route. Where are you now?" "At Cordelia's house. And before you ask, yes, I entered without permission. My daughter was in danger. Stay where you are. Don't touch anything else." A pause. "Your wife is missing from the hospital, Mr. Hargrove. Did you know that?" The news sent a jolt through Liam. "When? About an hour ago. Security footage shows her leaving with a man. Tall, muscular build, baseball cap pulled low. They're reviewing the tapes now. Vega. It had to be. Bianca's injuries, already established as evidence, would support her story of being victimized. Perfect cover for their disappearance. Detective, I've discovered evidence suggesting my wife staged the break-in as part of a larger plan. She and her lover, a man named Russell Vega, intended to empty our accounts and disappear. When my daughter discovered their plan, they decided to eliminate her as a witness." A heavy silence followed. "That's a serious accusation, Mr. Hargrove. I have her journal and a burner phone with their communications. And now we have Cordelia's involvement and planned escape. It all fits. We'll need that evidence." Liam hesitated. The police would move too slowly, constrained by procedure. By the time they acted, Bianca, Vega, and Cordelia could be anywhere. "I'll bring it to the station tomorrow," he said finally. "Right now, I need to get to my daughter." "Mr. Hargrove," Sullivan began, but Liam had already ended the call. Next door, Phoenix flung herself into his arms the moment Judge Whitfield opened the door. Liam held her tightly, breathing in the scent of her hair, reassuring himself she was unharmed. "You're safe now," he murmured. "I've got you." Over her head, he met Whitfield's grave expression. The judge, in his 70s but still formidable, nodded toward his study. "She told me some concerning things, Hargrove. If even half of it is true, you have a serious situation on your hands." Once Phoenix was settled with a cup of tea, watched over by Whitfield's wife Miriam, the two men withdrew to the book-lined study. "Your daughter says she found incriminating documents in your wife's computer," Whitfield began without preamble. "Financial transfers, travel arrangements, communications with a man she believes is your wife's lover. According to Phoenix, they've been systematically emptying your accounts for months." Liam's jaw tightened. "Did she say anything about their plans for her?" Whitfield's expression darkened. "She overheard a conversation between your wife and sister-in-law. They were discussing a permanent solution to the Phoenix problem. The girl believes they meant to stage an accident, possibly make it appear that she ran away after her mother's attack, then met with foul play." Cold rage washed through Liam. Not just betrayal, not just theft, but a plot against his child. "Their child. I need to keep her safe while I deal with this," Liam said. "You can't go after them yourself," Whitfield warned. "Whatever evidence you have, turn it over to the authorities." Liam's smile was empty of humor. "With all due respect, Judge, you know how this works. By the time the police untangle this web, they'll be long gone with my money. And they'll try again with Phoenix. She's the only witness who can contradict Bianca's version of events." Whitfield studied him. "I was a prosecutor before I was a judge, Hargrove. I've seen what happens when people take justice into their own hands." "This isn't about justice," Liam replied softly. "This is about protecting my daughter and retrieving what's mine." The older man sighed. "At least leave the girl here while you do whatever it is you're planning. Miriam and I can watch over her. Our home security is excellent, and no one would think to look for her here." Relief washed through Liam. "Thank you. That would be ideal." When he returned to the living room, Phoenix sat straight-backed on the couch, her young face set in lines of determination that reminded Liam painfully of himself. "I need to tell you everything," she said before he could speak. "About Mom, about what I found." For the next half hour, Phoenix detailed her discoveries. How she'd grown suspicious of her mother's behavior months ago. How she'd installed a keylogger on Bianca's laptop, a trick she'd learned in a computer science elective. How she'd uncovered emails, bank transfers, plans. "They've taken almost everything, Dad," she finished, voice cracking. "The trust fund you set up for me, your retirement accounts, even the emergency cash from the safe room." "Not everything," Liam corrected grimly. "I keep certain assets elsewhere." Phoenix met his eyes. "You're going after them, aren't you?" "Yes." "Good." The word contained a hardness no 14-year-old should possess. "Make them pay." Liam knelt before her, taking her hands in his. "I need you to stay here with the Whitfields. I can't focus on what needs to be done if I'm worried about you." "I know." Phoenix squeezed his hands. "Just promise me something. Anything." Her eyes, mirror images of his own, burned with cold fire. "Don't let Mom come back. Ever. No matter what she says, no matter how sorry she pretends to be. She was going to let him kill me, Dad. Her own daughter." The word struck Liam like physical blows. He gathered Phoenix into his arms, feeling her thin shoulders shake with suppressed sobs. "I promise," he whispered. "She'll never hurt you again." After Phoenix had fallen asleep in the Whitfields' guest room, Liam returned to his car. From the glove compartment, he retrieved a small metal case containing a phone unlike any consumer model. Military-grade encryption, untraceable. He dialed a number he hadn't used in years. "It's Phantom," he said when the line connected. "I'm calling in my marker." A pause, then a gravelly voice replied. "Location? Watch Hour Pub. 1 hour." Acknowledged. Liam started the engine, mind already shifting into operational mode. What he was about to do would cross lines that couldn't be uncrossed. But for Phoenix, there were no lines he wouldn't cross, no boundaries he wouldn't shatter. Bianca had made a fatal miscalculation. She'd chosen Russell Vega, an ex-con playing at being dangerous, as her escape plan. But she'd forgotten who her husband really was. Not just Liam Hargrove, successful businessman, but Sergeant Liam Phantom Hargrove, The man who had once been the military's most effective hunter of high-value targets. A man who never failed to find what he was looking for, and who never, ever forgave betrayal. Chapter 5. The Hunt Begins. The Watchtower Pub sat on the edge of the industrial district, a nondescript building with blacked-out windows and a clientele that preferred anonymity. Liam entered through the back door, nodding to the massive doorman who recognized him despite the years since his last visit. In the far corner booth, obscured by shadows, waited Dominic the Wraith Reyes, former Delta Force operator, now information broker to a very select clientele. His dark eyes, set in a face mapped with scars, assessed Liam coolly. "Phantom," he greeted, voice like gravel. "Thought you'd gone civilian for good." Liam slid into the booth. "So did I." A glass of whiskey appeared before him, delivered by a waitress who vanished as silently as she'd arrived. "Heard about your situation," Dominic said. "Word travels fast in certain circles." "How much do you know?" "Wife staged a break-in. Plans to disappear with your money and her boyfriend. Tried to eliminate your kid as a liability." Dominic's expression remained neutral. Pretty standard rich people problems, except for the kid part. That crosses a line. Liam sipped his whiskey. "I need everything you can get me on Russell Vega. Known associates, properties, habits. And I need a location. They're running tonight." Dominic slid a thumb drive across the table. "Already compiled. Your wife's boyfriend isn't as clever as he thinks. Used a burner phone, but connected to his home Wi-Fi. Rookie mistake. And private airfield outside Carson City. Charter flight to Belize departing at 11 p.m. From there, ferry to a private island off Honduras. Untraceable funds, new identities, the works." Liam's eyes narrowed. "That's sophisticated for an ex-con personal trainer." "Because he's not just a personal trainer." Dominic tapped the thumb drive. "Russell Vega is an alias. Real name, Russell Volkov. Former FSB operative who went private sector. Specializes in helping wealthy people disappear. Usually those running from legal troubles." "A professional ghost maker," Liam murmured. "Exactly. And he doesn't come cheap. Your wife must have been siphoning money for months to afford his services." The pieces clicked into place. Bianca's increased charity work. The frequent trips to fundraisers in other cities. The new friends Liam had never met. "There's more," Dominic continued. "Volkov has a pattern. He helps his clients disappear, lets them enjoy their new lives for a few months, then eliminates them and takes the remainder of their assets. Your wife wouldn't have survived to see Christmas." A cold smile touched Liam's lips. "So, I'd be doing her a favor by stopping her now. If you want to look at it that way." Dominic leaned forward. "But here's the thing, Phantom. Volkov isn't a trainer playing gangster. He's killed 17 people that intelligence agencies know about. Probably twice that they don't. You're good, one of the best I've worked with, but you've been out of the game for 15 years. Are you saying I can't handle him?" Dominic's scarred face remained impassive. "I'm saying you shouldn't go alone. I've assembled a team. 3 operators, all vetted, all with reasons to hate Volkov. They're on standby." Liam considered the offer. Additional personnel would increase his chances of success, but also complicate the operation. And what he planned to do once he found Bianca and Volkov wouldn't bear witnesses. "No team," he decided. "Just gear. I'll need specialized equipment." Dominic nodded, unsurprised. "The quartermaster is expecting you. Everything you requested is ready." As Liam rose to leave, Dominic caught his arm. "One more thing. Your wife's sister, Cordelia, found dead in her car at a rest stop 30 miles east. Single shot to the head, execution style. Volkov's cleaning house." The news should have shocked Liam, but he felt only a cold certainty. He's eliminating loose ends. And the biggest loose end is your daughter. If I could find your wife's plans this easily, so can Volkov. He knows Phoenix is a threat. He'll come for her. She's secure for now. By the time he could reach her, this will be over. Liam's voice hardened. "Where will I find the quartermaster?" "Same place. The old munitions factory on Blackwater Road." Dominic slid a key across the table. "Warehouse 3. You have 2 hours before he moves locations." As Liam turned to go, Dominic added, "Remember who you're dealing with, Phantom." Volkov isn't just dangerous because he's skilled. He's dangerous because he has nothing to lose. Men like that don't fight fair. Neither do I, Liam replied. Not anymore. 90 minutes later, Liam stood in a cavernous warehouse filled with shipping containers. The man known only as the quartermaster, a former military logistics specialist who now supplied equipment to private military contractors and others with the right connections, watched impassively as Liam inspected the gear laid out on a steel table. Everything's untraceable, the quartermaster confirmed. Clean weapon, custom ammunition. Ballistics won't match any database. Comms equipment is military-grade, encrypted. Vehicle has diplomatic plates. You'll be invisible to traffic systems. Liam examined the modified Sig Sauer, checking its weight and balance. The rest of the package? The quartermaster gestured to a metal briefcase. Surveillance equipment, tactical gear, medical supplies. The special items you requested are in the lower compartment. I don't need to tell you to be careful with those. No, you don't. Liam transferred the equipment to a nondescript duffel bag. What do I owe you? Dominic settled the account. Said it was partial payment for an old debt. Liam nodded. Some debts could never be fully repaid. As he loaded the equipment into the matte black SUV parked at the warehouse's rear exit, his encrypted phone vibrated. A message from Dominic. Target on move. Private airstrip. 3 vehicles, heavily armed escort. Your window is closing. Liam checked his watch. 9:47 p.m. The flight was scheduled for 11 p.m., but knowing Volkov, they'd take off the moment everyone was aboard. He had maybe an hour to intercept them before they left U.S. airspace. Before departing, he called Judge Whitfield's secure line. "How's Phoenix?" he asked without preamble. "Sleeping," the judge replied. "We've moved her to the panic room, as you suggested. No one's getting to her here. I need to speak with her." A few moments passed. Then Phoenix's voice came on the line. "Dad, did you find them?" "Not yet, but I will soon." Liam kept his voice steady. "I need you to stay with the Whitfields until this is over. No matter what you hear, no matter who contacts you, don't leave their protection. Understand?" "I understand." A pause. "Be careful, Dad." "I will." Liam gripped the phone tighter. "Phoenix, if something happens to me, there's a letter in my office safe. The combination is your birthday. It explains everything, including where to find the emergency fund I set up years ago. It's enough to take care of you until you're 30. Nothing's going to happen to you," Phoenix insisted, but her voice trembled. "Of course not," Liam agreed. "But just in case. I love you, Phoenix. Everything I've ever done has been to protect you. Remember that. I love you too, Dad." After ending the call, Liam programmed the coordinates of the private airstrip into the SUV's navigation system. As he pulled onto the highway, he felt a familiar calm settling over him. The operational focus that had once made him legendary in the special operations community. Phantom, they called him. The ghost who appeared from nowhere, completed impossible missions, and vanished without a trace. Tonight, Phantom would hunt once more. And this time, he wasn't bound by rules of engagement. Chapter 6. Closing the Trap. The private airstrip glowed with runway lights against the night sky, a small oasis of illumination amid rolling desert hills. From his position on a ridge half a mile away, Liam observed the activity through high-powered night vision binoculars. 3 black SUVs were parked beside a sleek Gulfstream jet. Men in tactical gear, 6 of them, patrolled the perimeter. Professional security, not airport personnel. Their movements displayed military precision. Volkov wasn't taking chances. The jet stairs were down, cabin lights blazing. Through an open door, Liam glimpsed movement inside, preparations for imminent departure. He scanned the vehicles, searching for Bianca. There, a flash of platinum blonde hair as a figure emerged from the middle SUV. Even at this distance, Liam recognized his wife's graceful movements. Her left arm was in a sling, the same injury she'd sustained during the break-in she had staged. Behind her strode a tall man with the powerful build of someone who maintained combat readiness. Volkov. One hand rested possessively on Bianca's lower back. The other held a satellite phone to his ear. Liam's jaw tightened as he watched his wife lean into Volkov's touch, Her face turned up to his in a gesture of intimacy that sent cold rage through Liam's veins. He forced the emotion down. Anger led to mistakes. And tonight, he couldn't afford any. Through his earpiece, he could hear the chatter of Volkov's security team, their communications intercepted by the advanced equipment the quartermaster had provided. Perimeter secure. Weather conditions optimal for takeoff. ETA to departure, 20 minutes. Less time than Liam had anticipated. He would need to move quickly. The direct approach was suicide. 6 trained operators plus Volkov himself. Even with the element of surprise, those weren't survivable odds. But Liam hadn't survived 3 tours in the world's deadliest combat zones by fighting fair. From his position, he activated a small drone, launching it into the night sky. The device, no larger than a sparrow and silent as an owl's flight, transmitted thermal imaging to Liam's tablet. Now he could see heat signatures inside the buildings and aircraft. 2 pilots in the cockpit. A single figure, likely a flight attendant, moving about the cabin. Bianca and Volkov now boarding, followed by 2 guards. The remaining 4 security personnel continued their patrol outside. Liam reached into his equipment bag, retrieving several small devices. Each resembled a river stone, dark and unremarkable. Remote detonated EMP charges, powerful enough to disable electronics within a 30-foot radius without causing physical destruction. With practiced precision, he programmed the drone's flight path. It would drop the charges at strategic points around the airstrip, near the aircraft's avionics, the SUV's engine compartments, the building housing the communications center. As the drone departed on its mission, Liam moved. Clad in black tactical gear, he descended the ridge, using natural cover to approach the airstrip's western boundary, the least patrolled sector, according to the thermal imaging. Through his earpiece, he monitored the security team's communications. Runway clear. Final pre-flight checks underway. Departure in 12 minutes. The drone completed its circuit, returning silently to Liam's position. On his tablet, he confirmed the placement of the EMP charges. All in position. 10 minutes to departure. Liam reached the perimeter fence. Using wire cutters, he created an opening just large enough to slip through. The blackout fabric covering his tactical gear absorbed light, rendering him nearly invisible against the desert landscape. 8 minutes. He positioned himself behind a fuel storage tank, 200 yards from the aircraft. Through his scope, he could see Bianca through the jet's windows. She was sipping champagne, laughing at something Volkov said. The injuries that had appeared so severe at the hospital seemed to trouble her remarkably little now. 6 minutes. Liam activated his comm system, connecting to the aircraft's frequency. With vocal mimicry technology, another of the quartermaster's special items, he transmitted a message in the voice of air traffic control. Gulfstream November 679er, be advised we're showing a mechanical warning on your port engine. Request you delay departure for inspection. Through his scope, Liam saw the pilots exchanging concerned glances. One of them rose, exiting the cockpit to confer with Volkov. 5 minutes. The diversion worked. Volkov emerged from the aircraft, followed by 2 security personnel. They moved toward the engine in question, inspecting it with flashlights. For minutes, Liam detonated the EMP charges. The effect was immediate and devastating. The airstrip plunged into darkness as the runway lights died. The SUV's electronics shut down. Inside the aircraft, the cabin lights flickered and failed. Chaos erupted. Security personnel activated flashlights, moving in defensive formation around the jet. Through his night vision goggles, Liam tracked their movements. Predictable responses to an unexpected crisis, exactly as he'd planned. 3 minutes. Using the confusion as cover, Liam approached the aircraft. The security team had split up, 2 men with Volkov, 2 checking the perimeter, 2 guarding the jet's entrance. The odds were improving. 2 minutes. Liam deployed his next countermeasure. Smoke grenades launched from a compressed air device. Silent, with no heat signature to trigger thermal alarms. The dense smoke billowed across the tarmac, obscuring visibility even further. Security comms erupted with confused chatter. Possible fire. Check the fuel lines. Negative visual on the southeast corner. Maintain positions. Could be a diversion. 1 minute. Moving through the smoke like the phantom of his code name. Liam reached the first pair of guards. They never saw him coming. Precision strikes to the brainstem with a carbon fiber baton. Non-lethal, but instantly incapacitating. 30 seconds. The guards at the aircraft's entrance were more alert, sensing movement in the smoke. One raised his weapon just as Liam emerged from the darkness. A silenced shot. A precise hit to the shoulder, disabling without killing. The second guard managed to fire once before Liam's tranquilizer dart found his neck. The gunshot echoed across the airstrip, triggering alerts from the remaining security team. 0. Liam ascended the aircraft stairs, entering the cabin. The flight attendant, a young woman with wide, terrified eyes, raised her hands immediately. "Please," she whispered. "I'm just staff. I didn't know." "Out," Liam ordered, gesturing to the exit. "Run. Don't stop until you reach the main road." She fled without hesitation. Bianca stood frozen in the center of the cabin, champagne flute still in her hand. In the dim emergency lighting, her face appeared ghostly pale, the bruises from her staged attack stark against her skin. "Liam," she breathed, shock evident in her voice. "How did you? Where's the money, Bianca?" He interrupted, voice deadly calm. She took a step back. "I don't know what you're. 15 years of marriage, and you still think you can lie to me?" Liam advanced slowly. "The offshore accounts. The liquidated assets. Where?" Fear flickered in her eyes, quickly replaced by calculation. She set down the champagne flute, composing herself. "It's too late, Liam. Even if you stop us tonight, you'll never recover what we've taken. It's gone, converted to untraceable cryptocurrency, spread across dozens of digital wallets only Russell can access." "Russell?" Liam let out a humorless laugh. "You mean Volkov? The man who's killed every client he's ever helped disappear? How long did you think you'd survive once you reached that island?" Uncertainty crossed Bianca's features. "What are you talking about? Russell loves me. We've been planning this for a year." "I know." Liam removed a tablet from his tactical vest, activating it. On the screen appeared documents, intelligence files, forensic financial analysis, photographs of crime scenes. Russell Volkov, former FSB assassin. Current specialty, helping wealthy individuals disappear, then eliminating them and seizing their assets once they're safely beyond jurisdiction. He swiped to crime scene photos. Claudia Bernhard, Timothy Westfield, Alonso Rivera, all clients, all dead within 6 months of their disappearance. All found with similar wounds, a single shot to the base of the skull. Bianca's composure cracked. "You're lying, trying to turn me against him." "Am I?" Liam swiped to a final document. A bank statement showing transfers from an account labeled B. Montgomery to a series of shell companies. "Why was your sister paying him, Bianca? What was Cordelia's role in all this?" She was helping us. With Phoenix. Once we were settled, she would bring Phoenix to join us." Liam's expression hardened. "Cordelia is dead. Shot execution style at a rest stop 30 miles east of here. Volkov's cleaning house, eliminating everyone who could connect him to you. You next. Then our daughter." The color drained from Bianca's face. "No, that's not possible. Cordelia was supposed to meet us here. She never will, and neither will Volkov." Liam checked his watch. His 2 remaining men are currently searching for the source of the EMP blast. They'll find a series of charges set to detonate in approximately 40 seconds. As if on cue, muffled explosions echoed across the airstrip. Bianca flinched. "What have you done?" "Created a diversion. Non-lethal, but convincing. Emergency services are already en route, responding to what appears to be a failed attempt to steal a private aircraft." Understanding dawned in Bianca's eyes. "You're framing Russell. No need to frame a man for crimes he's actually committed. The evidence of his past operations is already in FBI possession, anonymously delivered an hour ago, along with details of your conspiracy, including the staged attack and plans for Phoenix." Fury replaced fear on Bianca's face. "You self-righteous bastard. You think you've won? That you've saved the day? You have no idea what it's been like being married to you. The great Liam Hargrove, so dedicated to his company he forgot he had a family. I never forgot, Liam replied quietly. Everything I built was for you and Phoenix. Everything. Well, you can keep it all, Bianca spat. Russell and I will start over somewhere else. We don't need your money. Liam almost pitted her delusion. There is no Russell and you anymore, Bianca. There never was. You were Mark, a wealthy, discontented wife he could manipulate into stealing from her husband. Once he had what he wanted, you would have become another body on his list. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. You have a choice now, Liam continued. Surrender to the authorities, cooperate, perhaps get leniency, or run. But if you run, understand this. There's nowhere on earth you can hide that I won't find you. Bianca's laugh was brittle. Always the hero, aren't you? Let me guess, you'll graciously forgive me if I repent? Take me back into your home, your life. No. The single word fell between them like a stone. Whatever we had is dead. What you planned for our daughter ended any possibility of forgiveness. I'm offering you a chance at survival, nothing more. The shock in Bianca's eyes suggested she had indeed expected clemency. 15 years of marriage, and she had never truly known him. The authorities will be here in 2 minutes, Liam said, checking his watch again. Make your decision. And what about Russell? Bianca demanded. Where is he in all this? Liam's expression remained impassive. Mr. Volkov is otherwise engaged. By morning, he'll be in federal custody or dead. His choice. The confidence in Liam's voice made Bianca step back. For the first time, real fear showed in her eyes. Not fear of consequences, but fear of the man before her. This wasn't the successful businessman she had married. This was someone else entirely, someone dangerous. Who are you? She whispered. Liam smiled, a cold expression that never reached his eyes. Someone who protects what's his. Something you and Volkov should have considered before threatening my daughter. The sirens were very close now. Red and blue lights flashed at the entrance to the airstrip. Liam moved toward the exit. Time's up, Bianca. Choose. He descended the aircraft stairs without looking back. By the time the authorities stormed the airstrip, Phantom had already vanished into the desert night, leaving behind a carefully crafted scene. A private jet, a traumatized woman with a decision to make, and enough evidence to put Russell Volkov away for multiple lifetimes. Phase 1 of Liam's plan was complete. But Volkov himself remained at large, having slipped away during the initial confusion. The real hunt was just beginning. Chapter 7. Retribution. 3 days after the airport incident, Liam sat in a secluded booth at the Harbor View restaurant overlooking the marina. Through the window, he watched sunset paint the water gold and crimson, colors that reminded him of fire and blood. Appropriate, given the circumstances. The table before him held a laptop displaying security footage of Russell Volkov entering a luxury hotel in Vancouver 6 hours earlier. The man moved with the wary grace of a predator, constantly scanning his surroundings. His right arm was immobilized in a sling, a souvenir from his encounter with Liam at the airstrip, though the media reported only that unknown assailants had interrupted an attempted aircraft theft. Bianca had chosen surrender. Currently in federal custody, she was negotiating a plea deal, offering information on Volkov's operations in exchange for leniency. The evidence Liam had anonymously provided ensured she wouldn't walk free, but she might avoid the decades-long sentence otherwise awaiting her. Liam felt nothing at the thought of his wife in prison. The woman he had loved was gone, if she had ever truly existed at all. Phoenix was safe, still under Judge Whitfield's protection until Volkov was dealt with. She was speaking with therapists, processing the trauma of her mother's betrayal. The psychological wounds would take years to heal completely, but Phoenix was strong. Like her father, a shadow fell across the table as someone slid into the booth opposite Liam. Dominic Reyes, as scarred and imposing as ever, signaled to a waiter for whiskey before speaking. Vancouver, he said without preamble. Bold move, crossing the border when every law enforcement agency in the country is looking for him. He's desperate, Liam replied. His accounts are frozen, his clients abandoning him, his reputation in tatters. The man built his business on discretion. Now he's front-page news. Still dangerous. Maybe more so, now that he has nothing to lose. Liam nodded. That's counting on. Dominic's eyes narrowed. You want him to come after you. It's the quickest way to end this. Phoenix remains at risk as long as he's free. And Volkov knows his only path to rebuilding his life is eliminating everyone who can connect him to his crimes. Starting with you and your daughter. Dominic accepted the whiskey from the waiter, waiting until they were alone again before continuing. You're using yourself as bait. I'm using myself as a trap, Liam corrected. There's a difference. Dominic studied him. The authorities are closing in. FBI has his description, his aliases. It's only a matter of time before they find him. Time Phoenix doesn't have. Every day Volkov remains free is another day my daughter lives in fear. Liam's voice hardened. This ends now. My way. And what way is that exactly? Instead of answering, Liam turned the laptop to show a different screen. Architectural plans for a modernist mansion perched on a cliffside overlooking the Pacific. My property on the Olympic Peninsula, he explained. Isolated. Defensible. Completely off-grid. Understanding dawned in Dominic's eyes. You're drawing him there. He's already on his way. Tracking device on his vehicle shows movement north from Vancouver, approaching the coastal highway. Liam's smile was cold. I made sure certain information reached him. Rumors that Phoenix and I are hiding at the house, away from federal protection. That's suicide phantom. Even injured, Volkov won't come alone. He'll bring a team, professionals heavily armed. I'm counting on that too. Liam closed the laptop. I need one more thing from you. Dominic sighed. Name it. Phoenix's security. Judge Whitfield is an excellent temporary guardian. But if this goes wrong, I need someone who can protect her long-term. Someone with the right connections, the right skills. You're talking about a lifetime commitment. Yes. Dominic was quiet for a long moment. We served together for 6 years. You saved my life in Kandahar, and again in that hellhole in Myanmar. I wouldn't be sitting here if not for you. He drained his whiskey. If it comes to that, Phoenix will never want for protection. You have my word. Relief washed through Liam. He reached into his jacket, withdrawing an envelope. Legal documents. Makes you her guardian if I don't return. Access to certain accounts. Clean money. Untraceable. Dominic accepted the envelope without looking at its contents. You're not going to die out there, Phantom. That's not how your story ends. Maybe not. But if it does, Liam's eyes were steady. Make sure Phoenix knows I did this for her. That everything was for her. She'll know. Dominic extended his hand across the table. Good hunting. They shook. A warrior's grip, firm and final. As Dominic departed, Liam lingered, watching darkness claim the harbor. Night was falling earlier now, as autumn deepened toward winter. Soon the cliffside house would be wrapped in the region's characteristic fog. Perfect conditions for what he had planned. His phone vibrated with a message from one of the motion sensors he'd placed along the approach to the property. A vehicle had triggered the first perimeter alert, still miles from the house, but definitely on the private access road. Volkov had taken a bait. Liam left cash on the table and departed through the restaurant's kitchen, avoiding security cameras. Within minutes, he was driving north along the coastal highway, race against time to reach the house before his quarry. The cliffside property appeared abandoned when Liam arrived. No lights, no sign of habitation. To casual observation, it was merely another wealthy recluse's vacation home, shuttered for the season. But appearances were deceiving. Over the past 48 hours, Liam had transformed the modernist glass and steel structure into an elaborate trap. Every entrance was rigged, every room prepared. The security system, originally designed to keep intruders out, had been modified to ensure that once inside, no one would leave without Liam's permission. From the concealed command center in what had once been a wine cellar, Liam monitored the approach. 2 SUVs, moving cautiously up the winding cliff road. Thermal imaging showed 8 heat signatures, Volkov plus 7 operatives. More than Liam had anticipated, but still manageable. He activated the property's defense protocols. External lighting systems disabled. Communication jammers engaged. The smart glass throughout the house polarized to complete opacity, preventing any visual reconnaissance of the interior. The vehicles stopped half a mile from the main gate. The team would proceed on foot, standard tactical approach. Through high-powered surveillance cameras, Liam watched them deploy. Professional formation, night vision equipment, assault weapons. Not local talent. These were imported specialists, likely Eastern European, based on their movements and gear configuration. Liam's lips curved in a predatory smile. Volkov was taking no chances, assembling a kill team worthy of his former FSB connections. It would make his downfall all the more satisfying. The tactical frequency scanner picked up their communications, encrypted but easily broken by the military-grade decryption software Liam had installed. Approach in pairs. Alpha Team takes the main entrance. Bravo circles to the terrace. Charlie secures the perimeter. Delta maintains overwatch from the tree line. Volkov's voice, recognizable from recordings Liam had studied, came through clearly. Remember, we need confirmation. I want visual on both targets before extraction. The girl is priority for leverage. The father is expendable. Liam's hands tightened on the console. The reminder of what these men intended for Phoenix hardened his resolve. Tonight would end only one way. He reached for the equipment he'd prepared. Not the conventional weapons these men would expect. Guns, explosives, the usual security measures of a wealthy man. But the tools of a specialist who had once hunted the world's most dangerous targets through environments far more hostile than this. Tactical suit with built-in temperature regulation to mask his heat signature. Specialized contact lenses that enhanced night vision without the telltale glow of traditional goggles. A communications rig that would allow him to mimic any voice it recorded. Phantom was going hunting. He activated the first countermeasure as the Alpha Team approached the main entrance. Hidden speakers throughout the surrounding forest began to emit infrasound, frequencies below human hearing that nonetheless created feelings of dread and disorientation. Through body cameras sewn into the tactical gear of the intruders, technology reverse-engineered from military prototypes, Liam watched the psychological effect take hold. Elevated heart rates. Micro-expressions of anxiety. One man repeatedly checking over his shoulder, convinced he was being watched. They were being watched, just not from where they expected. Alpha Team reached the main entrance. Their breaching specialist attached shaped charges to the reinforced door, far more explosive power than necessary, betraying nervousness. The detonation was controlled, professional. As smoke cleared, men entered the foyer in tactical formation, weapons raised. Liam allowed them to advance into the house, monitoring their movements through the surveillance system. When they reached the great room with its panoramic ocean views, he triggered the second countermeasure. The smart glass windows, previously opaque, suddenly cleared, revealing the dizzying drop to jagged rocks hundreds of feet below. Simultaneously, the floor, actual solid stone, projected an illusion of cracking, giving way beneath their feet. The psychological impact was immediate. Two operators instinctively leaped backward. One fired reflexively at the floor, wasting precious ammunition. The fourth maintained better discipline, but was momentarily disoriented, long enough for Liam to isolate him. From a hidden access panel, Liam entered the ventilation system that honeycombed the house. Moving silently through spaces designed for his frame, he positioned himself above the disoriented operator. A precisely thrown blade severed the man's radio cord. Before he could react, a second blade found the soft tissue behind his knee. As he crumpled, Liam dropped from the ceiling, catching him before he could cry out and dragging him back into the ventilation shaft. One down, 7 to go. Using the communication system, Liam activated the captured operator's radio, mimicking his voice, all clear in the West Wing. Moving to the second floor, Volkov's response came immediately. Negative. Hold position until Bravo Team secures the terrace. Outside, Bravo Team had encountered their own difficulties. The terrace doors, apparently unlocked, had triggered a localized gas release when opened. Nothing lethal, but powerful sedatives delivered via aerosol. Both operators collapsed before they could alert their teammates. 3 down. Charlie team, tasked with perimeter security, reported increasing unease. The infrasound was affecting them more severely in the open, surrounded by forests that seemed to breathe with malevolent intent. Shadows moved despite the absence of wind. Strange echoes distorted their communications. Liam targeted them next. From the tree line, he deployed a specialized drone, another military prototype designed for covert operations. Silent, radar invisible, it hovered above the increasingly agitated operators. Precision tranquilizer darts found their targets. 2 more down without a shot fired. Delta team, maintaining overwatch, lost contact with their colleagues. Attempts to radio for status updates went unanswered. The snipers exchanged nervous glances, training their rifles on the house with increased urgency. Liam allowed them a moment of mounting dread before striking. Moving through the forest with the silence that had earned him his code name, he approached from their blind spot. The first sniper never knew what hit him, a garrote wire around the throat, tightened with clinical precision to cut off blood flow to the brain. Unconsciousness came in seconds. Death would have followed in minutes, but Liam released the pressure at exactly the right moment. He wanted prisoners, not corpses. Not yet. The second sniper sensed movement too late. As he turned, Liam's combat knife found the nerve cluster in his shoulder. The rifle clattered to the ground as the man's arm went numb. A precise strike to the temple, and he joined his colleague in unconsciousness. 7 down. Only Volkov remained. Liam returned to the house through a concealed entrance, checking the surveillance system. Volkov had lost contact with his entire team and retreated to the main foyer, back against a wall, weapon ready. His injured arm appeared to pain him, but he moved with the dangerous competence of a cornered predator. From the command center, Liam activated the house's speaker system. His voice, calm, almost conversational, echoed through the empty halls. "Your men are alive, Volkov. Unconscious but alive. For now." Volkov fired in the direction of the nearest speaker, shattering it. "Where's the girl?" he demanded. "Safe. Far from here. It's just you and me." "Hargrove." Volkov's laugh held no humor. "You're full of surprises. Not the soft businessman I expected." "No," Liam agreed. "I'm something else entirely. Something your intelligence on me apparently failed to uncover." Another laugh, edged with genuine amusement despite the circumstances. The wife never mentioned her husband was a professional. "My mistake. A mistake that will cost you everything." Volkov began moving again, checking corners, maintaining awareness of all approach vectors. "Let's negotiate, Hargrove. I still have access to accounts your federal friends haven't frozen. Offshore holdings your wife didn't know about. We can make a deal. Can we?" Liam's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "What could you possibly offer me?" "Money. A lot of it. And I disappear, for real this time. You never hear from me again. And I'm supposed to trust the word of a man who murders his clients? Who was planning to kill my child?" Volkov's expression hardened. "Business is business. Nothing personal. That's where you're wrong." Liam's voice dropped to a whisper that nonetheless carried perfectly through the house's acoustic design. "This is entirely personal." From his position in a hidden observation room, Liam watched Volkov spin, try to locate the source of the voice. The former FSB operative's training was evident. He gave away nothing, maintained his composure even as he realized he was being hunted. "If you're going to kill me," Volkov called out, "at least have the courtesy to show yourself." One professional to another. Liam considered. The tactical advantage lay in remaining hidden, wearing Volkov down psychologically until he made a mistake. But there was something to be said for looking into the eyes of the man who had conspired to destroy everything Liam cared about. Decision made, Liam activated the final countermeasure, a localized EMP that would disable Volkov's weapon without affecting the house's systems. As the pulse triggered, Volkov's rifle went dead in his hands. He discarded it immediately, drawing a sidearm that had been shielded from the pulse by his body. Too late. Liam emerged from a concealed door directly behind him, combat knife already in motion. The blade bit deep into Volkov's gun hand, forcing him to drop the weapon. Volkov whirled, surprisingly fast despite his injuries. A combat knife appeared in his own hand, a match pair to the one Liam had just used, taken from one of his fallen operatives. Finally, Volkov grinned, blood dripping from his wounded hand. "Let's settle this like men." Liam circled warily. Volkov was injured but dangerous, the kind of operator who improved under pressure, thrived in life-or-death situations. They engaged in a lethal dance, blades flashing in the dim light. Volkov favored his wounded side, but compensated with vicious efficiency. A cut appeared on Liam's forearm, then another across his ribs. But Volkov was bleeding too, a deep slash across his thigh, another along his collarbone. "You're good," Volkov acknowledged, breathing heavily. "Military? Special forces?" "Something like that," Liam replied, maintaining pressure, forcing Volkov to expend energy defending. "American? British? You move like Spetsnaz, but the technique is wrong." Liam said nothing, conserving breath. Volkov was trying to distract him, create an opening. "Doesn't matter," Volkov continued. "Whoever trained you did a good job. But I've been doing this longer, Hargrove, and I'm simply better." He lunged suddenly, a feint followed by a vicious upward strike aimed at Liam's throat. But Liam had anticipated the move, stepping inside Volkov's guard and driving his own blade into the assassin's side. Not a killing blow, but a disabling one. Volkov staggered back, free hand pressed to the wound. "Fuck," he gasped, genuine surprise in his eyes. "Who the hell are you?" "The man whose family you threatened," Liam replied. "The man who's going to make you regret ever meeting my wife." Understanding dawned in Volkov's eyes. The wife was just business. The girl was collateral. Nothing personal, like I said. Everything about family is personal. Liam advanced implacably. "You should have done better research before targeting mine. Before targeting Phoenix." "The daughter?" Volkov laughed despite his pain. "She was never in danger. Your wife wouldn't allow it." Liam paused. "Explain." Bianca drew the line at the girl. "Our plan was to take her with us. New identity, new life. Your wife was many things, Hargrove, but she wouldn't harm her own child." "You're lying." Liam's voice hardened. "I read the messages. Heard the recordings. No loose ends. The contingency plan for Phoenix." Volkov shook his head. The contingency was taking her, without her consent, if necessary. Drugged, if needed, until she adjusted to the new reality. He grimaced as blood seeped between his fingers. "Your wife was ambitious, greedy, but not a monster. Unlike me. Unlike you." The revelation struck Liam like a physical blow. Was it possible? Had he misinterpreted the evidence, allowed his fears for Phoenix to color his understanding? No. Phoenix herself had overheard their plans for a permanent solution to the Phoenix problem. Judge Whitfield had confirmed it. "Nice try," Liam said coldly. "But I know what you planned for my daughter." Volkov's smile was bloody. "And what do you plan for me, Hargrove? Going to execute me? Become what you think I am?" "No." Liam lowered his knife. "I'm going to let justice take its course." Relief flickered across Volkov's features, quickly replaced by suspicion. "The authorities? After all this, you're turning me in?" "Not exactly." Liam stepped back, pressing a concealed button on the wall. The floor-to-ceiling windows that dominated the far wall suddenly cleared, revealing a group of men on the terrace outside. Men in tactical gear, bearing a distinctive insignia. The Russian Federal Security Service. Volkov's face drained of color. "No, not them. Your former employers have been looking for you for a long time, Russell. Apparently, they take exception to operatives who go rogue, selling state secrets to finance their new careers. They were quite interested when I reached out with your location." "You can't do this," Volkov whispered. "You don't understand what they'll do to me." "I understand precisely what they'll do." Liam's voice was without mercy. "A much slower death than I would have given you. One you've earned many times over." The terrace door slid open. The FSB team entered with disciplined precision, weapons trained on Volkov. "Hargrove," Volkov pleaded, desperation replacing his earlier confidence. "For God's sake, a bullet. Give me that much." "No." Liam stepped aside as the Russian operatives secured Volkov. You plan to take everything from me. My wealth, my daughter, my life. Now I'm taking everything from you. Starting with hope. Liam nodded to the FSB team leader, who triggered a remote device. The house's security system reset, freeing Volkov's unconscious team from their various restraints and sedation. Your men will wake in approximately 30 minutes, Liam explained. They'll find themselves unharmed, with transportation waiting to take them to the Canadian border. Their weapons have been disabled and ID chips installed in their equipment. If they ever enter U.S. territory again, every federal agency will know immediately. Volkov, now secured in FSB custody, managed one final, hate-filled glare. This isn't over, Hargrove. Yes, Liam replied softly. It is. As the FSB team departed with their prize, Liam stood alone in the shattered remnants of the home he had built. A home that, like his marriage, had been revealed as little more than an elaborate facade. Tomorrow, it would begin again, with Phoenix, without Bianca, a new life built on truth rather than illusion. But tonight, he allowed himself to remember who he truly was. Not just Liam Hargrove, successful businessman and devoted father, but Phantom, the hunter who always found his prey. Chapter 8. Shattered Reflections. 6 weeks after Volkov's capture, Liam sat across from Phoenix in the sun-drenched breakfast nook of their new home. The property, a renovated farmhouse on 20 acres of rolling woodland outside of Portland, bore no resemblance to their former modernist mansion. Here, warmth replaced cold elegance. Security remained state-of-the-art, but invisible, integrated so seamlessly into the rustic structure that even Liam sometimes forgot it was there. Almost. Phoenix looked up from her tablet, where she'd been reviewing college applications despite being only 14. After everything that had happened, she seemed determined to accelerate her future, to push forward rather than dwell on the past. MIT's early admission program wants my advanced mathematics scores by February, she said. Do you think I should wait another year? Liam studied his daughter. The past months had changed her, hardened something behind her eyes, straightened her posture. She carried herself differently now, more like him. There's no rush, he replied carefully. You have plenty of time to decide. Phoenix's fingers tapped restlessly against the tablet case. I want to move forward, build something new. As with most of their conversations lately, the unspoken hung heavy between them. Build something new from the ashes of what Bianca had destroyed. Liam's phone vibrated with an incoming call. Sullivan's name flashed on the screen, the detective who had investigated the original break-in and now served as their FBI liaison. Liam excused himself, stepping onto the back porch to take the call. Hargrove, he answered. It's done, Sullivan said without preamble. Judge issued the sentencing this morning. 15 years for conspiracy, fraud, attempted kidnapping. With good behavior, she could be out in 10. Bianca's fate, decided in a sterile courtroom while Liam and Phoenix built their new life 3,000 miles away. Thank you for letting me know, Liam said, voice neutral. She asked about Phoenix again, Sullivan continued. Wanted to know if she could write to her. The restraining order is clear. Liam's tone hardened. No contact means no contact. I told her that. A pause. She had a message for you, though. Said to tell you she never intended for Phoenix to be harmed. That Volkov was lying about the contingency plan. The claim sent a familiar chill through Liam. During debriefing with federal authorities, Volkov had maintained that Bianca drew the line at harming Phoenix, that the permanent solution Phoenix overheard referred to permanently relocating her, not eliminating her. But Phoenix had been adamant about what she heard, and Judge Whitfield had corroborated her account. It doesn't matter what she intended, Liam replied finally. What matters is what she was willing to risk. My daughter's life, her safety, her future. Understood, just passing along the message. After ending the call, Liam remained on the porch, watching wind ripple through the autumn-tinged trees surrounding the property. In the distance, a security team patrolled the perimeter, Dominic's men rotating shifts to ensure nothing from their old life could follow them here. Volkov had disappeared into the shadowy depths of the Russian security apparatus. The official story claimed he died during interrogation, but Liam's contacts suggested a different truth, that Volkov now languished in a secret prison somewhere in the Ural Mountains, sharing his extensive knowledge of international criminal networks in exchange for continued existence. Either way, he was no longer a threat. Bianca was incarcerated in a medium-security federal facility in Arizona, as far from Portland as the system could place her. Her assets had been seized, her reputation destroyed. The glamorous socialite now wore prison khaki, her platinum hair growing out to its natural sandy brown, her manicured hands roughened by institutional labor. Justice had been served, swift and comprehensive. Yet Liam found no satisfaction in it. "Dad," Phoenix's voice came from the doorway. "Is everything okay?" Liam turned, forcing a smile. "Fine. Just work calls." She didn't believe him. That much was clear from her expression. But she nodded anyway, maintaining the polite fiction that had characterized their relationship since the night at the Cliffside house. "Judge Whitfield called while you were out here," she said. "Wanted to know if we're still coming for Thanksgiving. Do you want to go?" Phoenix considered the question with the same serious deliberation she applied to everything now. "Yes," she decided. "I like the Whitfields. And I don't want to hide forever." Something eased in Liam's chest. It was the first time Phoenix had expressed interest in expanding their carefully constructed bubble beyond necessary interactions with her new school and Liam's security team. "Then we'll go," he promised. "I'll have Dominic make the arrangements." Phoenix hesitated, then asked the question she'd been avoiding for weeks. "Has there been any word about Mom?" Liam studied his daughter. She deserved the truth, however painful. Sullivan called. Sentencing was today. 15 years. Phoenix absorbed this with no visible reaction beyond a slight tightening of her jaw. "Will they let her write to me?" "Not if you don't want her to. The restraining order prevents any contact." "And if I wanted to hear from her?" Phoenix's voice was carefully controlled. Hypothetically, Liam felt something twist inside him, the protective instinct warring with respect for Phoenix's autonomy. After a long moment, he said, "That would be your decision. When you're 18. Relief and disappointment crossed Phoenix's face in equal measure. 4 years is a long time. It is, Liam agreed. But some wounds need time to heal before you can risk reopening them. Is that what you think I'd be doing? Reopening wounds? I think," Liam said carefully, "that your mother does not deserve your forgiveness. But whether you eventually offer it is not for me to decide." Phoenix studied him with eyes too old for her 14 years. "Will you ever forgive her?" "No." The word emerged without hesitation, absolute in its finality. Phoenix nodded, as though his answer confirmed something she had already known. "Because of what she did to you? Or what she planned for me?" "Both," Liam admitted, "but mostly the latter. I could have forgiven betrayal of our marriage. I cannot forgive someone who placed my child in danger." Phoenix considered this, then asked the question that had clearly been troubling her. "What if she really didn't mean for me to be hurt? What if I misunderstood what I heard?" Liam moved closer, placing his hands on Phoenix's shoulders. "Listen to me. You know what you heard. Judge Whitfield confirmed it. Your mother and Cordelia were discussing a permanent solution to the Phoenix problem. But what if?" "No what ifs," Liam said firmly. "Trust yourself, Phoenix. Trust your instincts. They saved your life that night at Cordelia's." Phoenix sighed, leaning briefly against her father's chest. Everything used to be so clear. Good and bad, right and wrong. Now it's all murky. "That's part of growing up," Liam told her, though in truth, his own moral compass had never wavered. Betrayal was betrayal. Threats against family were unforgivable. The world might be filled with gray areas, but not in this. Never in this. Phoenix straightened, composing herself. "I'm going for a run. Security Team 2 is on perimeter duty, right?" "Yes. Stay within the marked trails. Be back before dark." With a nod, Phoenix retreated to change into athletic wear. Liam watched her go, pride mingling with concern. She was adapting, surviving, but the scars remained, visible in small moments of hypervigilance, in the way she checked exits in every room, in her insistence on learning self-defense from Dominic's security specialists. His phone vibrated again, this time with a message from an encrypted channel few people knew existed. Package delivered at arranged coordinates. Surveillance as requested continues. Subject remains in isolation. Weekly reports to follow. Liam deleted the message immediately. Some operations remained active, even as he built this new civilian life with Phoenix. Contingencies within contingencies. Because despite the official reports, despite the assurances from Sullivan and other authorities, Liam knew the truth about dangerous men like Volkov. They had resources, connections, patience. 10 years, 15 years. Time meant nothing to men accustomed to planning in decades. The FSB might have Volkov now, but bureaucracies changed. Priorities shifted. Prisoners escaped or were exchanged. And so Liam maintained his own surveillance, his own network of watchers, eyes that would alert him long before any threat materialized. Phoenix might someday choose to forgive her mother, might even re-establish contact when she came of age. That was her right, her decision to make. But Liam would never drop his guard, never trust that justice alone would protect what was his. As Phoenix emerged in running clothes, waving before disappearing down the wooded trail that circled their property, Liam touched the concealed weapon at the small of his back, a habit so ingrained he performed it unconsciously multiple times daily. Some men found peace through forgiveness, through faith in systems designed to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. Liam had seen too much of the world's darker truths to share that optimism. His peace came from vigilance, from preparation, from the absolute certainty that should threats from their past ever re-emerge, Phantom would be waiting, ready to hunt once more. Chapter 9. Ashes and Steel. 3 years passed. Phoenix Hargrove, now 17 and graduating early from Portland's elite Westridge Academy, adjusted her mortarboard in the mirror of her father's study. Her reflection showed a young woman caught between worlds, still girlish in the curve of her cheek, but with eyes that had witnessed more darkness than most adults. Behind her, Liam entered silently, a habit he had never managed to break despite 3 years of peaceful routine. He wore his civilian expression, the one carefully crafted to hide the constant calculations, the perpetual threat assessment that still occupied the back of his mind. "Perfect," he said, admiring her graduation regalia. "Valedictorian suits you." Phoenix smiled, a genuine expression that had become more frequent lately. "I still can't believe MIT accepted me for fall admission." "I can. You've earned it." Liam straightened her honor cords. "Your speech ready?" "Memorized. Though public speaking isn't exactly my forte." "You'll be magnificent." Liam checked his watch. The Whitfields should be arriving soon. Miriam was particularly insistent about taking pre-ceremony photos. Phoenix nodded, turning back to the mirror for a final adjustment. As she did, her gaze caught on a small silver frame partially hidden behind books on the shelf, one of the few photographs Liam had kept from their previous life. Phoenix as a child of 7, astride a pony, beaming with delight. Beside her stood Bianca, equally radiant, one hand protectively on her daughter's leg. Liam followed her gaze. "We can put those away if you prefer." "No," Phoenix said quickly. "I like having them. Reminders of before. Before everything fractured. Before they discovered the lies that had underpinned their family. Before Phoenix had to rebuild her understanding of her mother, separating the woman who had loved her from the woman who had betrayed her." Liam nodded, though his expression tightened imperceptibly. 3 years of therapy had helped Phoenix process the trauma, but Liam's wounds remained raw, not from Bianca's betrayal of their marriage, but from her willingness to risk Phoenix in her desperate bid for freedom. "I got another letter," Phoenix said carefully, watching her father's reflection. "From Mom." Liam's expression didn't change. "And I'm thinking about reading it this time." Phoenix turned to face him directly. "I'll be 18 in 4 months. We had an agreement." "We did," Liam acknowledged. "When you turn 18, you can decide whether to have contact with her. The choice will be entirely yours. But you still think it's a mistake." It wasn't a question, but Liam answered anyway. "Yes, I think reopening that connection only invites pain back into your life. I think she forfeited any right to know you when she conspired with Volkov." Phoenix sighed. It's been over 3 years, Dad. She served her time, been a model prisoner, according to Sullivan. People change. Maybe she has. Perhaps. Liam's tone made it clear how unlikely he found this possibility. But as you said, you'll be 18 soon. The decision will be yours. The doorbell rang, saving them from further discussion. Liam's security system had already identified the Whitfield's vehicle passing through the outer checkpoint, but he checked the camera feed on his phone regardless. Another habit he couldn't break. That's them, he confirmed. Shall we? The graduation ceremony proceeded exactly as planned. Phoenix delivered her valedictorian address flawlessly, received her diploma to thunderous applause, and posed for countless photographs with the Whitfields, who had become surrogate grandparents over the past 3 years. Throughout the celebrations, Liam maintained his public persona: proud father, successful businessman, attentive host. Only those who knew him intimately, essentially Phoenix and Dominic, who attended as family despite his official role as head of security, would notice the hypervigilance behind his smiles. Every entrance and exit mentally mapped. Every unfamiliar face assessed for potential threat. Regular check-ins with the security team monitoring the perimeter. Old habits, necessary ones. The after-ceremony reception at their home was small but elegant. Phoenix's closest friends, the Whitfields, key faculty from Westridge Academy. As twilight descended, guests began to depart, leaving behind the comfortable silence of family. Judge Whitfield, now fully retired but still commanding respect with his imposing presence, joined Liam on the back porch while Phoenix and Miriam sorted through graduation gifts inside. She's thriving, the older man observed, sipping bourbon from a crystal tumbler. You've done well by her, Hargrove. We've done well, Liam corrected. Your guidance has been invaluable. Whitfield acknowledged this with a nod. After a moment of companionable silence, he said, Sullivan called me yesterday. Thought I might be able to broach a delicate subject with you. Liam's expression cooled. Bianca. Yes. Her parole hearing is scheduled for next month. With good behavior credits and overcrowding considerations, there's a strong possibility she'll be released. Though Liam had been expecting this, had planned for it extensively, the confirmation still sent a chill through him. The restraining order remains in effect, he said flatly. It does. But Phoenix will be 18 soon. Sullivan wanted me to prepare you for the possibility that Bianca might attempt contact once she's out. Even with the order in place, determined individuals find ways. I'm aware. Liam's tone betrayed nothing of the elaborate contingencies he had developed for precisely this scenario. Phoenix mentioned receiving another letter. She's considering reading it when she turns 18. Whitfield studied him. And how do you feel about that? It doesn't matter how I feel. It's her decision. Bullshit, Whitfield said bluntly. Of course it matters. You're her father. Your opinion carries weight, whether you acknowledge it or not. Liam sighed, relenting slightly. I think it's a mistake. But Phoenix needs to make her own choices about this. I can't protect her from everything forever. No, Whitfield agreed. But you can prepare her. He hesitated, then added. There's something else Sullivan mentioned. Something you should know. Liam tensed. What? Bianca has been in contact with a journalist. Someone writing an exposé on miscarriages of justice in the federal system. She's apparently claiming she was coerced into her plea, that the evidence against her was manufactured. Cold fury washed through Liam. By whom? By you. She's painting herself as the victim of a controlling husband who fabricated evidence when she tried to leave him. Whitfield's expression made his opinion of this claim clear. The journalist is ambitious, looking to make a name. The story has sensational potential. Wealthy socialite framed by powerful husband. Let them investigate, Liam said dismissively. The evidence is ironclad. Evidence you provided anonymously, Whitfield reminded him, through channels that might not withstand aggressive journalistic scrutiny. The implication hung between them. During the original investigation, Liam had indeed supplemented the legitimate evidence with materials obtained through less than legal methods. Bianca's private communications, financial records that would have required warrants to access officially, recordings made without consent. Crucial pieces that had secured her conviction but might taint the entire case if their provenance were exposed. I'll handle it, Liam said finally. Whitfield studied him. Legally, I hope. Of course. Liam's smile didn't reach his eyes. I'm a civilian now, remember? The older man sighed. Hargrove, I've known you for 3 years. I respect you, but we both know there's more to you than successful businessman and devoted father. He gestured to the property around them. Peaceful, seemingly ordinary, yet subtly fortified in ways only a trained I would notice. Normal people don't live like this. They don't maintain private security teams or background check every person their daughter interacts with. After what happened with Bianca and Volkov, I have reasons for caution. Caution, yes. This goes beyond caution. Whitfield leaned forward. I was a judge for 30 years before that, a prosecutor. I've developed a certain instinct about people. Whatever you did before founding your security company, it wasn't corporate consulting. Liam remained silent, neither confirming nor denying. I'm not asking for details, Whitfield continued. But I'm asking you to remember that Phoenix needs her father, not whatever you were before. Whatever contingencies you're planning regarding Bianca, keep that in mind. I always do, Liam replied softly. Everything I've ever done has been to protect Phoenix. Whitfield nodded, seemingly satisfied. One more thing. This journalist, Naomi Calloway, she's requested an interview with Phoenix. Sent a formal letter to Westridge Academy after the graduation lists were published. Liam's expression hardened. Absolutely not. I agree. But Phoenix is nearly 18, idealistic, and has unresolved questions about her mother. If approached directly, she might agree without consulting you first. She wouldn't. Are you certain? Because Sullivan mentioned Bianca has been writing Phoenix weekly for the past 6 months. Letters Phoenix confirmed she's receiving, though she hasn't read them. The revelation struck Liam like a physical blow. Phoenix had mentioned letters, plural, but not their frequency. Not that they'd been arriving with such strategic regularity. Before he could respond, Miriam Whitfield opened the porch door. Lawrence, our car is here. And Phoenix has decided to stay the night with Madison's family for the post-graduation celebration. If that's all right with you, Liam. Madison Turner, Phoenix's closest friend at Westridge. The Turner family had been thoroughly vetted by Dominic's team. Their home security was adequate. The planned celebration was supervised, substance-free. Still, Liam hesitated. Dad. Phoenix appeared behind Miriam, overnight bag already packed. We talked about this. It's one night, 5 miles away, with the Turners. Dominic already approved it last week. Liam relented with a nod. Of course. Have fun. I'll have security drop you off. Phoenix rolled her eyes good-naturedly. Madison's mom is already here to pick me up. But thanks. After Phoenix departed and the Whitfields followed shortly after, Liam found himself alone in the house that had never quite become a home. More fortress than sanctuary, despite his efforts to create normalcy for Phoenix. He poured himself another bourbon and called Dominic. Need surveillance on the Turner residence tonight, he said without preamble when his security chief answered. Discreet, non-intrusive, but comprehensive. Already arranged, Dominic replied. 2-man team, standard rotation. Nothing will get near the place without us knowing. Relief washed through Liam. Thank you. There's something else, Dominic continued. Our sources inside the federal system confirm Bianca's parole is practically guaranteed. Release date tentatively set for July 15th. Less than 2 months away, just before Phoenix would depart for MIT. And the journalist? Calloway, former investigative reporter for the Washington Post, now freelance. 3 major exposés to her credit, all involving alleged miscarriages of justice. Currently working on a book about women supposedly framed by powerful men. Bianca's case would be her centerpiece. How determined is she? Very. She's already filed Freedom of Information requests for all case documents, petitioned the court for transcripts, interviewed 3 guards from Bianca's facility, and she's made multiple attempts to contact Phoenix through various channels. Has she had any success? Not yet, but she's resourceful and persistent. Liam considered his options. The most efficient solution would be direct intervention, using his considerable resources to discredit Calloway before she could publish, or to ensure her investigation led nowhere. But Whitfield's warning echoed in his mind. Phoenix needed her father, not Phantom. And direct action against a journalist carried risks he was unwilling to take with Phoenix's future so bright before her. Monitor the situation, he instructed Dominic. No intervention yet, but I want to know immediately if she makes contact with Phoenix. Understood. Dominic paused. There's one more thing. A report came in from our asset in the Russian system. Regarding Volkov, Liam tensed. For 3 years, he had maintained surveillance on the former FSB operative through well-paid sources within Russian intelligence. Volkov remained imprisoned in a special facility in the Urals, his expertise on international criminal networks too valuable for his captors to discard him despite his betrayal. What about him? There was an incident, a fire in the detention block where he was being held. 3 prisoners confirmed dead, 2 missing. Cold dread washed through Liam. Volkov, unaccounted for. The Russians are claiming he died in the fire, but no body has been recovered. Our asset says the official story is suspicious. The timing coincides with a major rotation of security personnel, and there have been whispers of a deal. Information Volkov provided about a high-value target in exchange for considerations. He's out. It wasn't a question. Possibly. We're working to confirm. But if he is, he'll come for us, Liam finished. For Phoenix. The pieces aligned with terrible clarity. Bianca's parole. The journalist's sudden interest. Volkov's possible escape. After 3 years of relative peace, the past was rushing toward them like an oncoming storm. Activate Protocol Obsidian, Liam ordered. Full security consolidation. Review all evacuation plans. And give me everything on Calloway, not just her professional life. I want to know who she talks to, where she sleeps, what medication she takes. Everything. That's a significant escalation, Dominic noted. Are you sure? Yes. Liam's voice hardened. Volkov is methodical. If he's free, he's been planning this for years. The journalist, Bianca's parole, they're connected. They have to be. I'll make the arrangements, Dominic promised. But Liam, Phoenix is going to notice this level of security. She's not a child anymore. Then it's time she knew the truth, Liam replied grimly. All of it. After ending the call, Liam moved to his study. Behind a seemingly ordinary bookshelf lay the concealed room, a command center from which he could monitor security throughout the property and beyond. On one wall hung a map marked with locations across the globe, safe houses, emergency rendezvous points, trusted contacts. Another displayed surveillance feeds from the house, the perimeter, and key locations Phoenix frequented regularly. A third wall contained a gun safe, which Liam now opened. Inside lay weapons far beyond those a typical civilian might own. Specialized equipment from his former life, maintained meticulously despite years of disuse. As he checked each one, muscle memory returned. The weight of the Sig Sauer in his hand, the precise tension required to assemble the Barrett sniper rifle, the balance of combat knives designed for his specific grip. For 3 years, he had maintained the facade of Liam Hargrove, successful businessman and devoted father. He had attended parent-teacher conferences, hosted birthday parties, built a life of apparent normalcy for Phoenix's sake. But beneath that carefully constructed exterior, Phantom had remained vigilant, prepared, waiting. Now, it was time for Phantom to hunt once more. 3 days later, Phoenix returned from a study session to find the house transformed. Security personnel patrolled openly rather than maintaining their usual discreet distance. New cameras had been installed. The windows, once offering panoramic views of the surrounding forest, now displayed only opaque glass. "Dad," she called out, dropping her backpack in the hallway. "What's going on?" Liam emerged from his study, expression grim. "We need to talk." In the kitchen, Phoenix listened silently as Liam explained the situation. Bianca's impending parole, the journalist's investigation, and most critically, Volkov's possible escape. "I don't understand," she said finally. "It's been 3 years. Why would he come after us now?" "Because men like Volkov don't forget," Liam replied. "I humiliated him, cost him everything. In his world, that demands retribution." Phoenix studied her father, seeing something shift in his demeanor. a hardness emerging from behind the parental facade she'd grown accustomed to. "There's more, isn't there?" she asked quietly. "Something you haven't told me." Liam hesitated, then nodded. "It's time you knew the truth about me, about who I was before Typhon Security." For the next hour, Liam revealed the past he'd kept hidden, not just from Phoenix, but from everyone except those who had served with him. His recruitment into a specialized military unit that officially didn't exist. Missions in countries where American forces weren't supposed to operate. The skills that had earned him the code name Phantom. So, when Mom betrayed us, Phoenix said slowly, she had no idea who she was really dealing with. "No," Liam confirmed. "She saw only what I wanted her to see. Successful businessman, devoted husband. The rest remained hidden." "And now you think Volkov is coming for revenge?" "I don't think. I know." Liam's voice hardened. "The journalist, your mother's parole, they're connected. Volkov is methodical. He's been planning this for years." Phoenix absorbed this, her analytical mind processing implications. "What's your plan?" "You leave for MIT in 6 weeks. Until then, maximum security. No unnecessary outings. Then, once you're safely away, you're going to hunt him," Phoenix finished. Not a question. "Yes." Phoenix nodded, surprisingly calm. "I'm not running, Dad. Not from him. Not from Mom. Not from any of it. This isn't negotiable, Phoenix. I'm 17, not 7. In 4 months, I'll be legally an adult." She met his gaze directly. "Besides, if he's as dangerous as you say, separating us just makes us easier targets." Before Liam could respond, his secure phone vibrated with an incoming message from Dominic. "Calloway made contact. Intercepted at Turner residence 20 minutes ago." Phoenix wasn't present. "Journalist detained by team." Liam's expression darkened. "The journalist tried to approach you at Madison's house. My security team has her." "Your security team detained a journalist?" Phoenix's eyes widened. "Dad, that's kidnapping." "It's protection," Liam corrected. "She's working with Volkov, whether she knows it or not." Phoenix stood abruptly. "Take me to her." "Absolutely not. Either take me to her, or I'm calling Judge Whitfield right now." Phoenix's voice was steel. "This isn't how we handle things. Not in our new life." The standoff lasted several seconds before Liam relented. "Fine, but you follow my lead. And if I say we leave immediately." 20 minutes later, they arrived at a nondescript warehouse on Typhon Security's private compound. Inside, Naomi Calloway, a sharp-featured woman in her 40s with prematurely gray hair, sat handcuffed to a metal chair, expression defiant despite her circumstances. "Mr. Hargrove," she greeted coldly. "Finally decided to show your face?" Liam ignored her, conferring quietly with Dominic, while Phoenix studied the journalist with undisguised curiosity. "Do you know who I am?" Phoenix asked finally. Calloway's expression softened slightly. "Phoenix Hargrove, valedictorian, MIT-bound, and the daughter of a woman I believe was framed for a crime she didn't commit. My mother conspired with Russell Volkov to rob my father and kidnap me," Phoenix stated flatly. "I witnessed their plans myself." "Did you? Or did you witness something your father interpreted for you?" Calloway leaned forward as much as her restraints allowed. "Your mother has been writing to you. Have you read her letters?" "No." "Why not?" Phoenix hesitated. "Because my father believed it would be harmful for me. And you always do what Daddy says." Mockery tinted Calloway's voice. "No," Phoenix replied calmly. "I make my own decisions. But I trust his judgment when it comes to my safety. Even when that judgment includes kidnapping journalists." That, Phoenix acknowledged, was a mistake. She turned to Liam. "We need to release her. Now." Liam's expression remained impassive. "Not until we determine her connection to Volkov." "There is no connection." Calloway protested. "I'm investigating a potential miscarriage of justice. That's my job. A convenient coincidence that you began this investigation just as Volkov escaped Russian custody." Liam countered. Confusion flickered across Calloway's face. "Who the hell is Volkov?" The reaction seemed genuine, even to Liam's trained eye. Either Calloway was exceptionally skilled at deception, or she truly was unaware of Volkov's escape. "Dad," Phoenix said quietly, I don't think she knows. Before Liam could respond, his phone vibrated again. The message from Dominic was concise and chilling. Breach at Turner residence. Madison and parents safe, but evidence of professional entry. Target was Phoenix's room. We need to go. Now. Liam's tone left no room for argument. To Dominic, he added, release her, but maintain surveillance. As they sped back toward their home, Liam explained the situation. They targeted Madison's house, specifically your guest room. They're looking for you. Phoenix paled, but remained composed. So what now? Protocol Obsidian. Complete disappearance. New identities, new location. Running, you mean? Strategic retreat, Liam corrected. Until we can neutralize the threat. Phoenix fell silent, staring out the window at the darkening sky. Finally, she asked, what if I want to read Mom's letters first, before we disappear? The request caught Liam off guard. Why now? Because if Volkov is working with her, if this is all connected like you believe, then her letters might contain information. Clues. Phoenix's expression hardened. And because I'm tired of not knowing the truth. Liam studied his daughter, recognizing the determination in her eyes, the same determination he saw in the mirror each morning. The letters are in my safe, he acknowledged. But we read them together. An hour later, they sat at the kitchen table, a stack of unopened envelopes between them. One by one, Phoenix opened them, reading each aloud. The early letters contained what might be expected: apologies, explanations, pleas for understanding. But as the months progressed, the tone changed subtly. References to a second chance appeared. Mentions of friends in unexpected places who might bring our family back together. The most recent letter, dated just 1 week earlier, contained the most direct statement. When I'm released, we'll have help starting over. Somewhere Liam can never find us. Someone who understands what we've been through has made arrangements. Say nothing to your father. She's working with him. Phoenix whispered, face pale. With Volkov. Yes, Liam confirmed grimly. And they're planning to take you when she's released. Phoenix's hands trembled slightly as she refolded the letter. I almost believed her. That she was sorry. That she'd changed. People like your mother don't change, Liam said quietly. They adapt. They find new angles. But fundamentally, they remain who they've always been. What do we do now? Liam gathered the letters, placing them in an evidence bag. Now we stop reacting and start hunting. Over the next week, Liam's network activated fully for the first time in 3 years. Surveillance on Bianca's prison revealed unusual visitor patterns. Legal counsel ostensibly preparing for her parole hearing, but the man's credentials were false, his identity carefully constructed. Financial trails showed a complex web of transactions connecting shell companies similar to those Volkov had previously used. Properties purchased through nominees in 3 states. Specialized equipment ordered through untraceable channels. Most disturbing were the fragments of communications intercepted between the false lawyer and Bianca. Coded messages that, when deciphered, revealed a plan not just to take Phoenix, but to exact revenge on Liam through his daughter. They want me to watch you suffer before they kill me, Liam explained to Phoenix as they reviewed the evidence in his command center. It's psychological warfare, targeting what I value most. Instead of fear, determination hardened Phoenix's features. Then we use that against them. Set a trap. No, Liam said flatly. You're not bait. I'm not suggesting I should be, Phoenix clarified. But they believe I'm still the traumatized 14-year-old from 3 years ago. Someone who might still yearn for her mother's love despite everything. We can use that misconception. Liam studied his daughter with newfound respect. What are you proposing? A controlled scenario. I write to Mom, tell her I've read her letters, that I want to meet when she's released. Somewhere public, but isolated enough for their purposes. Phoenix's eyes gleamed with cold intelligence. We choose the battlefield. It's too dangerous. More dangerous than waiting for them to choose the time and place. Phoenix countered. You taught me that initiative is critical in conflict. I never taught you that, Liam said, frowning. Phoenix smiled slightly. Not explicitly, but I've been watching you for 3 years, Dad. I've learned more than you realize. After hours of debate, a plan emerged. Not the one Phoenix had initially proposed, but one that incorporated elements of her strategy while maintaining the security Liam insisted upon. They would allow Bianca to believe Phoenix had reached out, wanting reconciliation. They would permit controlled communication, feeding information that would shape Bianca and Volkov's approach. And when the trap was fully set, Phantom would spring it, with Phoenix safely hundreds of miles away. Over the following weeks, as Bianca's release date approached, the gambit proceeded with precision. Phoenix's carefully crafted messages, reviewed exhaustively by Liam before transmission, painted the picture of a daughter desperate for maternal connection despite lingering doubts. Bianca responded exactly as predicted, with manipulative warmth, vague promises, and subtle encouragement to maintain secrecy from Liam. Through encrypted channels established by her legal counsel, she arranged a meeting for the day after her release, at a lakeside cabin supposedly owned by a supportive friend. 3 days before the planned rendezvous, Liam prepared Phoenix's departure. A private jet waited to transport her to Judge Whitfield's brother's estate in Montana, remote, secure, and unknown to anyone who might be watching them. "I still think I should be there," Phoenix argued as they reviewed the final preparations. "They'll be suspicious if I don't show. They'll be expecting a double cross," Liam countered. "Volkov is too experienced to believe I'd allow you anywhere near this meeting. He's counting on capturing you beforehand, using you to force me into the open. And instead, I'll already be there, waiting." Liam's expression was cold. "This ends tomorrow, Phoenix. Permanently." The night before Phoenix's scheduled departure, Liam found her in the kitchen, brewing tea, a habit she developed during their 3 years of rebuilding. "Can't sleep?" he asked, joining her at the counter. "Thinking," she replied, pushing a second cup toward him. "About Mom. About what happens after tomorrow." Liam accepted the tea, studying his daughter. "What do you mean? When this is over, when they're dealt with, what then? Do we keep running? Keep hiding? Or do we finally start living?" The question struck deeper than Phoenix likely intended. For 3 years, Liam had maintained constant vigilance, viewing their life in Portland as merely a temporary reprieve rather than a true new beginning. "I don't know how to stop being what I am," he admitted finally. "The man who built Typhon, who married your mother, who thought he could have a normal life. He was a construction, a cover identity that became real for a while." "And who are you really?" Phoenix asked softly. "Someone who protects what's his," Liam replied. "Someone who eliminates threats. Someone who never forgives betrayal." Phoenix considered this. "And what if someday I disappoint you? Betray your expectations? Am I just another possession to be protected, or discarded if I fail?" The question shocked Liam. "You're my daughter. Nothing will ever change that. Mom was your wife. That changed. That's different. What your mother did was unforgivable." "I know." Phoenix met his gaze steadily. "But Dad, someday I'll make mistakes too. Not like hers, but mistakes nonetheless. Will you extend me the grace you couldn't find for her?" Liam remained silent, unsure how to answer. "I'm not asking you to forgive Mom," Phoenix continued. "What she did was monstrous. But this life you've built, this fortress mentality, this isolation, it can't be forever. Not for me, anyway." Before Liam could respond, alarms blared throughout the house. Security perimeter breached. Multiple intruders approaching from 3 vectors. Liam's training took over instantly. "Safe room. Now." They moved with practiced efficiency through the house, toward the reinforced chamber hidden behind Liam's study. Through his tactical earpiece, Liam received updates from the security team. 6 intruders, professionally equipped, moving with military precision toward the house. Volkov had moved up his timetable. Inside the safe room, Liam activated defensive protocols while Phoenix took her assigned position at the secondary console, monitoring external cameras. "How do they find us?" she asked, voice remarkably steady. "The meeting isn't until tomorrow. They must have intercepted our communications," Liam replied, arming himself from the weapons cache. They had surveillance we missed. On the monitors, they watched Dominic's security team engage the intruders. Brief, Violent confrontations that ended with two attackers down, but the remainder advancing steadily toward the house. They're too coordinated, Liam observed. Too precise in their approach. They know exactly where the security is positioned. The realization struck him like a physical blow. We have a leak. Someone inside my organization. Phoenix's fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing security logs. The new protocol you implemented last week. Who had access to those files? Only Dominic and the section chiefs. One of them accessed the files at 2:13 a.m. 3 days ago, from an external IP address. Phoenix highlighted the log entry. Chief Weber. Liam's expression hardened. Weber's been with us since the beginning, which means he's had 3 years to be turned, Phoenix pointed out. If Volkov was planning this from prison, he'd need someone on the inside. The betrayal cut deep. Weber had been one of Liam's most trusted lieutenants, a former Delta operator who had served under Dominic in Afghanistan. Through the monitors, they watched the remaining intruders breach the house, moving methodically from room to room. Their tactical formation confirmed Phoenix's theory. They knew exactly where they were going. They'll reach the study in approximately 2 minutes, Phoenix reported. The safe room should hold, but they planned for that, Liam finished. They're not trying to get in. They're trying to keep us contained until Volkov arrives. A new alert flashed on the security system. A helicopter approaching from the east, flying without lights. Extraction team, Liam muttered. They're planning to take us both. Phoenix turned from the console, fear finally showing in her eyes. What do we do? For a moment, Liam saw not the confident young woman who had been planning to leave for MIT, but the frightened 14-year-old who had fled her aunt's house 3 years ago. His daughter. His responsibility. We changed the game, he decided. They're expecting us to stay hidden, protected. Instead, we hunt. From a concealed panel, Liam retrieved specialized equipment. Tactical gear designed for Phoenix's smaller frame, non-lethal defensive weapons she had been trained to use. You remember the emergency egress? He asked as they prepared. Phoenix nodded. Tunnel system beneath the wine cellar. Emerges 400 yards east of the house. Camouflaged exit near the old oak. Good. You take that route. There's a vehicle hidden at checkpoint 3. Keys under the rear bumper. Directions to the secondary safe house in the glove compartment. Phoenix paused in donning her tactical vest. You're not coming with me. No, Liam confirmed. I'm ending this. Tonight. Dad. Phoenix. Liam gripped her shoulders gently. Trust me one last time. Let me do what I do best, so you can have the future you deserve. After a moment's hesitation, Phoenix nodded. Promise me something. Anything. Don't die. Her voice cracked slightly. I've lost one parent to betrayal. I can't lose the other to revenge. I promise, Liam said, embracing her briefly. Now go. Fast and silent, just like we practiced. As Phoenix disappeared into the egress tunnel, Liam prepared for war. The intruders had reached the study, attempting to breach the safe room with specialized equipment. They believed they had their quarry trapped. They were about to discover their mistake. Through the house's sophisticated countermeasure system, Liam triggered localized EMP bursts, disabling the intruders' communications equipment without affecting the house's hardened electronics. Chaos erupted as their coordinated advance collapsed into confusion. Using maintenance passages built into the house's structure, Liam emerged behind the first 2 intruders. They never saw what hit them, precision strikes rendering them unconscious before they could alert their companions. The 3rd and 4th attackers, responding to their colleagues' sudden silence, moved with greater caution. It didn't save them. Phantom had hunted more dangerous prey in far more hostile environments. Outside, the helicopter circled lower, preparing to land on the property's helipad. Thermal imaging showed 2 heat signatures in the cockpit. The pilot, and based on the distinctive profile, Volkov himself. Exactly as Liam had anticipated. The former FSB operative wouldn't trust this operation to subordinates. Now when revenge was so close at hand. As the helicopter touched down, Liam moved into position. The house's exterior lights suddenly blazed to life, blinding anyone using night vision equipment. In that moment of disorientation, Liam struck. The pilot went down first, a tranquilizer dart ensuring he wouldn't be taking off again. Volkov, however, reacted with the speed of a man who had survived countless attempts on his life. He dove for cover behind the helicopter's landing strut, weapon already drawn. "Hargrove," he called out. "I know you're there. Where's your precious daughter?" Liam remained silent, circling to a better position. "No matter," Volkov continued. "Bianca is already waiting for her. Mother-daughter reunion. Isn't that touching?" The taunt confirmed Liam's suspicions. Bianca had been released early, part of Volkov's accelerated timetable. "Your security chief Weber was quite helpful," Volkov added. "Amazing what men will do when their gambling debts reach certain levels. He provided everything: house layouts, security protocols, even your emergency evacuation plans." Still, Liam made no response, continuing his silent approach. 3 years in a Russian prison, Hargrove. 3 years of planning this moment. Volkov's voice hardened. "Your daughter will watch you die, just as you forced me to watch everything I built crumble. Then she'll go with her mother, whether she wants to or not." Liam had heard enough. From his position behind the helicopter's tail section, he triggered the final countermeasure, a specialized flashbang designed to disorient without the risk of fire near aviation fuel. In a blinding flash, he moved. Volkov, despite his training, fired wildly into the space Liam had occupied moments before. The bullets found nothing but air. Their final confrontation was brutally efficient. Volkov was skilled, one of the best Liam had ever faced, but he was operating on rage and revenge. Liam moved with cold precision, each strike calculated, each defensive maneuver anticipated. When it ended, Volkov lay on the helipad, blood pooling beneath him from multiple wounds. None immediately fatal. Liam had been precise in his targeting. "Phoenix is already gone," Volkov gasped. "Bianca, waiting at the roadblock." Liam knelt beside his fallen enemy. "No, she isn't. Phoenix is already safely away. In your roadblock, we'll find only an empty automated vehicle, triggered remotely when it reached the appropriate coordinates." Comprehension dawned in Volkov's pain-filled eyes. "You knew. I knew Weber was compromised 2 days ago. I fed him false information, the emergency routes, the extraction plan. Everything you think you know about our movements was exactly what I wanted you to know. Bianca is still in federal custody. Her early release was a fiction created to draw you out. The woman waiting at your roadblock is a federal agent." Defeat registered on Volkov's face. "Finish it, then. You've won." "Yes," Liam agreed coldly. "I have." He stood, looking down at the man who had threatened everything he valued. 3 years ago, I gave the Russians priority. A mistake, one I won't repeat." Understanding and fear flashed in Volkov's eyes. "Hargrove, wait." "No more waiting," Liam replied. "No more threats to my family. No more Volkov." The shot echoed across the property, precise, final. Russell Volkov's quest for revenge ended permanently on Liam Hargrove's helipad, his blood seeping into the concrete as sirens wailed in the distance. 2 days later, Liam sat across from Phoenix in the Whitfield's Montana estate. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, illuminating the rustic great room where they had gathered to discuss what came next. "The official report cites self-defense," Liam explained. "Volkov's team attacked our home. I defended my property." "And Weber?" Phoenix asked. "In federal custody, facing multiple charges. His testimony confirms everything. Volkov's escape, Bianca's involvement from prison, the plan to abduct you." Phoenix nodded, processing this. "So, it's really over?" "Yes," Liam confirmed. "Volkov is gone. Your mother remains in prison, her parole denied due to the new evidence. Her journalist ally has retracted her investigation, faced with irrefutable proof of Bianca's guilt. And us? What happens now?" The question echoed their conversation from before the attack, a conversation interrupted by violence, yet somehow more relevant in its aftermath. "That depends," Liam said carefully. "MIT still waits. Your future remains bright. And you?" Phoenix pressed. "What does your future hold, now that the threats are eliminated?" Liam hesitated. For so long, His existence had been defined by protection, by vigilance, by the ever-present awareness of danger. Without that driving purpose, what remained? I don't know, he admitted finally. For 15 years, I pretended to be someone else, successful businessman, devoted husband. Then for 3 more, I was your protector, focused entirely on keeping you safe. And now, perhaps it's time to discover who Liam Hargrove really is. He met his daughter's gaze. Without the masks, without the constant warfare, Phoenix smiled, a genuine expression that reached her eyes. I'd like to meet that man. I think I'd like him. Even if he never forgives, even if that hardness remains. Some things shouldn't be forgiven, Phoenix acknowledged. What Mom did, what Volkov planned, those things fall into that category. But Dad, there's a difference between not forgiving genuine betrayal and being unable to trust anyone ever again. Liam considered this, turning the concept over in his mind like an unfamiliar weapon. MIT has an excellent psychology department, Phoenix added with a hint of her old humor. Maybe I'll minor in it. Help you figure it out. For the first time in years, perhaps for the first time since Phoenix was born, Liam laughed without reservation. The sound surprised them both. I like that, he said finally. A new mission, a new purpose. Outside, summer sunlight bathed the Montana landscape in golden hues. Birds called from ancient trees. The world continued its turning, oblivious to the personal apocalypses and rebirths of those who walked its surface. In that peaceful moment, Liam allowed himself to glimpse a future different from the one he had envisioned. Not constant warfare, not perpetual vigilance, but something approaching normal life. Not forgetting the threats that had shaped him, not forgiving those who had betrayed him, but perhaps finding a middle path. For Phoenix, for himself, a new mission indeed. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen. And I'll see you there.